good, guys? Welcome back to the Milk and Carton series. If you are new, first time joining us, my name is Stephanie and I'm the host of the Milk Carton series, where we discuss the missing and crime stories from all over. Now today we will be discussing the disappearance of 23-year-old Brandi Wells. Brandi went missing from the Longview, Texas area in 2016, and that was the last time anyone had ever heard or seen from her. She was known for her love of country music, in which she had hopes of being a country singer. But not even that. She excelled in high school. She got a scholarship to go off to college. In college, she was approached by the Flag Corps, where she would do a lot of different practices for them. And that's where she spent a lot of her time outside of school. In her second year of college, Brandi fell in love and she ended up getting married. But little did she know, balancing school and being a wife would become very challenging. So this caused her to drop out of college. Actually, she ended up divorcing and she moved back to San Antonio. But then she moved to Brownsboro and she was looking to restart her life. She had enrolled in community college and she also got another scholarship because she had done the Flag Corps. And life was just truly moving for her. Also recently got a job at Walmart and she was just waiting for the manager to fill her schedule up so she could begin working. On August 2nd of 2016, Brandi went to her mother's apartment. And while she was there, she asked her mother around 8:30 p.m. to use her vehicle. That's when Brandi wanted to use her mother's vehicle because her vehicle was running out of gas. But Brandi's mother's vehicle also was running out of gas. So Brandi ended up taking her own vehicle. And it has been said that she was supposed to be going out with friends this night. Brandi's first stop of the night was to a local bowling alley where a family friend bartended. And she got one drink at this particular place. And she had told this person that she went to Grand Central Station, which was about 45 minutes away. So on the next day, August 3rd, around 9:15 a.m., a local officer noticed a 2000 black Pontiac, found this vehicle on the Interstate 20. And of course, with him doing his due diligence, this, of course, because Brandi at this point wasn't listed missing by anyone. The car didn't have any signs on it, no tickets. So around 9:30 a.m., Brandi's mother wasn't alarmed that Brandi was not home. She figured that Brandi probably got drunk and stayed the night at a friend's house. So later that day, Brandi's roommate had phoned her mother, basically asking if she had seen Brandi. From what I read, she had to be somewhere that afternoon. Well, Brandi's mother calls her daughter's cell phone. There is no answers. But in the article, it states that her mother still wasn't alarmed because maybe, just maybe, she probably was just still sleeping. You know, you go hang out, you're spending all hours of the night out, and you're probably dirt. So on August 4th, Brandi's mother goes down to the police station and reports her missing. And this is when she finds out from the younger sibling that Brandi didn't go where she was intended to go. She was supposed to go to, they have it listed as an electric cowboy place, but in reality, Brandi went to the Grand Central Station. So after she found out Brandi's true plans, she ended up going to where this place was and began to search for any clues that she could possibly get in search of Brandi. On August 5th, Brandi's mother was notified by the Longview Police Department that she needed to file the police report with them because that's where Brandi was last seen. So on August 6th, a person driving down the Interstate of 20 reported that same vehicle. Remember, previously, the local officer basically had tagged it in, but this vehicle was still sitting on the side of the road. And that's when police were able to connect the vehicle to Brandi. On August 8th, crime scene investigators and cadaver dogs searched the area, but there was no scent of Brandi. But when they did search in the car, there was a napkin with a gentleman's name and phone number in the vehicle. So law enforcement calls the man and basically asks him if he had known Brandi or what was the situation that night. And the guy basically says that he offered to buy Brandi a drink, but Brandi declined. So he ended up just giving Brandi his phone number, and that was it. With little to any information on the disappearance of Brandi, local law enforcement reached out to the FBI to help with this case. Further examination to Brandi's car basically had some curiosity happening. So Brandi is not tall, so her driver's seat was kind of pushed back from what law enforcement had stated. The position of the vehicle was at an angle, and not only that, the keys were missing, the driver's seat was open slightly. Brandi's purse was also in the vehicle along with her cell phone, and there was a gas can that had been in the trunk, but Brandi's family basically said that this did not belong to her. Police ended up going to the Grand Central Station and trying to get any video footage. They did find out that Brandi did in fact come to the facility. Her ID was swiped around 10:44 p.m. Law enforcement did reach out to Brandi's family to identify if that was her on the footage, and they also noticed that Brandi was accompanied by a man. So they did reach out to the public to get any information on the disappearance of Brandi. Enforcement did speak to employees at the Grand Central Station, basically asking them, did they notice anything different or anything suspicious? They did state that Brandi did have only one drink, but it is said to believe that she called the club multiple times because she needed directions. So it had been assumed that she didn't know her way either back home. So that could be something worth leading, right? So 10 days into this, Brandi's mother gave a hair sample of DNA to the police department, and then it had been said that the phone that they had and locked up in the evidence was not in fact Brandi's cell phone. It had been stated that it was her ex-boyfriend who was deployed overseas, and it had been explained to law enforcement that no wonder that people in the address didn't really know who Brandi was because this wasn't her cell phone. This is when law enforcement subpoenaed her records, and as they were waiting, her family basically took things into their own hands. They reached out to her friend who they shared the same contract on the cell phone, and that's how they were able to kind of get her results a little bit more sped up. And there wasn't really anything suspicious on the cell phone records, but it had been stated about 9 days later there was a suspicious activity on the cell phone. This is when law enforcement basically reaches out to these suspicious calls, and they brought these individuals in for questioning and try to pinpoint a person of interest. And basically one of the persons states that they found the phone on the side of the road. He has said that they found the phone about a week after Brandi disappeared. And law enforcement stated that where the phone was found is not really an area for drugs or sex trafficking, but you can never be so sure for that information though. The man gave multiple accounts of how he received this cell phone. He first denied to take a polygraph test, and then he ended up failing one. The other two individuals that were brought in, they ended up passing the polygraph test, but not this individual. The article that I read does not say that he is a person of interest, and they have not included his name as well. Brandi's family does everything that they could possibly do to keep her name alive, reaching out to local newspaper, doing email chains, anything that you can possibly do. But sadly, her case went cold. So in hopes of reviving the investigation, Brandi's mother actually looked over the footage of the Grand Central Station video, and come to find out it was not in fact her daughter. The person in that video had on different clothing, but it has been said that Brandi was seen on footage coming into the club alone, and she left around 12:30 a.m. And given the way the video camera is, they couldn't really tell where in fact Brandi was headed, so it never really caught the ending of her leaving, out the club. September 19th of 2016, Brandi's mother reached out to a local organization that helps with the missing. She reached out to the Lore Recovery Center, but sadly there was no information that was found. They had cadaver dogs as well, people on four-wheelers trying to search that Grand Central Station, but nothing was really found. On October 29th of 2016, there had been reported of a woman's body being burnt, but police were able to basically say it was not Brandi's because the girl was wearing different clothing items than what Brandi had on. As you all know, through DNA and dental records, it later came out that it was not in fact Brandi's body. It was another young lady, and it makes you wonder if there was some other things going on. You know, maybe someone did something and they took it a step further, because you know how it is, like you find you find different crimes and it's like that person takes it up. December 23rd of 2006, there was a bag of bones that was found by the same recovery place that Brandi's mom had reached out to, coming out that these were animal bones, so it was not Brandi's. And then a third search was completed in 2007, but nothing was found. And then in 2010, Brandi's mother received a phone call by a guy named Tim, basically saying that Brandi was alive, living in Kansas City. Before she could get any information from this guy, the call disconnected. Can you imagine how heart-wrenching that is, especially if someone's playing on your phone? So there's 3 theories that's out there about the disappearance of Brandi Wells. One being as though there was a carjacking gone wrong, and this is led up because of how the car was found. Remember I said previously how the vehicle of the driver's seat was pushed back and Brandi wasn't as tall as how the car was. The second theory is that because Brandi was short on gas and she asked for directions from the Grand Central station, many believe that maybe someone could have done something to her because of that. But what's crazy is I thought previously Brandi didn't have gas from the get-go, so wouldn't you think she would have gotten gas instead of driving 45 minutes out the way to where she went? Because that part doesn't make sense to me if she was short on gas, because why would you drive 45 minutes and you didn't have gas? Theory is Brandi was either in sex trafficking or prostitution, because of which her phone was found. Many believe that she was in this ring or someone put her in this ring. There isn't really any evidence to support that, but because of the area where her car was found and the cell phone was found, many believe that's what. Now, Brandi's case is still open. There has not been any new leads when it comes to her disappearance. Her mother has done everything she can possibly do to keep her name alive, but that's why we are here to keep sharing her story as well, because as you guys know, cases go cold and they will continue to go cold if we don't speak up for the missing. Now, Brandi is listed as 5 feet. She weighs about 120 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Seen wearing a floral print blouse with brown pants. She also had on black heeled sandals. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Brandi Wells, you're asked to reach out to the Longview County Police Department. All information will be linked down below for any new tips. And yeah, that's today's video, guys. She's still missing. Brandi was 23 at the time of her disappearance. Longview, Texas. And like always, sending her family love and light. Hopefully some new information turns up so that way her family can know what in fact happened to her. Until the next video, guys, I will see you.